Welcome, fellow dreamers.
Welcome, fellow followers.
Welcome to Northland Homestead. So I can't believe it, but we're doing our 4-month check-in today.
Yeah, these things go so fast, I feel like. It's all of a sudden 4 months in. I would say this month has definitely been the most interesting in terms of challenges and just being a little tougher, but still progress being made.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into all of the nitty-gritty details in our little fireside chat that we've got all set up. But for now, let's start with the numbers.
So this month, I've lost 3.8 pounds, which brings my total to 24.6 pounds over the last 4 months. So I'm pretty happy to see progress being made. As I kind of alluded to earlier, it's been a little bit of a tougher month, so just to see that we're still making progress forward is a very encouraging sign.
So I also lost 3.8 pounds, which I think is pretty interesting that we both had the same total this month. But my overall total is 31.8 pounds, which I think is some tremendous progress. Still, like I said, a long way to go, but I'm happy with this month's progress. So let's get into month 4. I'd say one of the biggest obstacles this month was the fact that our kitchen is sort of out of commission. Not entirely out of commission because we're not doing any major renovations, but there's been a lot of sanding happening in the kitchen and a lot of painting. And therefore there's been dust and paint and supplies kind of everywhere. And that's made it really difficult for me to do a lot of cooking.
And then on the outside, we've actually taken a couple trees down so far, and there's more to do. And so when we've been working real hard, both outdoors and indoors, and everything's kind of a mess, it's so much easier to just say, okay, let's just go run and get something so we can get back to work.
Yeah. And one of the problems for me was that I think initially I was so fixated on the number and losing the weight that I was kind of starving myself a bit at night. I would stop eating around noon or 2 o'clock and refuse to eat afterwards because I had this idea that I needed to do intermittent fasting for as long as possible. But it's not very sustainable, and it's also no healthier minded about food than what I had before, where I didn't care and was just kind of eating my emotions and things like that. I need to learn to have a healthy perspective about food both ways. It can't be one extreme or the other. So I've had to sort of reevaluate and reassess and kind of try to learn how to have a healthy relationship with food.
And that's always been tough for us, is I think doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. As soon as your motivations become a little less sustainable, then your practices do as well. And I feel the same. I feel like as long as we've been able to have the mindset that we're just going to live our lives and we're going to make, baby steps forward, things have gone well. As soon as you start trying to rush ahead, I feel like that's when I start tripping up. And I feel like we've definitely hit some of that this month.
Yeah. We're still going. We still are happy that we've decided to take this step and this path towards wellness, but it needs to be more sustainable than it was before. I think initially we had a lot of the excitement and the adrenaline of trying something new and that it was being successful, but now we need to sort of go with the long view and accept that it's going to take some time for this weight to come off.
With all that being said, still progress. And that's what I keep coming back to that is so encouraging, is even when you are hitting what you feel is like a rough skid and it's hard to get back on track, we're still making forward progress. And that's so exciting to know that like everything you're doing is adding up rather than subtracting.
Yeah, 3.8 pounds each is no small feat. I'm very proud of that. It's going to slow down, I would say, month to month, now that a lot of the initial water weight and things like that has come off. But we're still making progress, we're still going, we're still eating at home more than we were before, and I count all of that a win. So going into the next month, we have a few changes that we'd like to implement.
So one big thing that's going to be happening next month is the kids are going back to school, so it's back into a new routine. Maybe it will get a little easier to kind of get back into a normal day-to-day. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, so I also really want to continue to make things from scratch, but I will say I've come back down to reality a little bit more. At first, I was making my own tortillas and tortilla chips, even, and all of those sorts of things. That's a bit extreme for me. Will I get to that point? Maybe, hopefully. I'd like to continue to learn and grow as a cook and learn to do more things from scratch. But I think at this time in my life, I'm not ready to take on all of the cooking in terms of condiments and all of those sorts of things from scratch at the get-go. I think I really need to sort of build myself up to that a little bit more, and I think I bit off a little more than I could chew initially. So I'm going to allow myself a few of those things, give myself grace for not being able to do all of the things. But as much as I can, I'm going to continue to cook from scratch and give myself grace on the areas where I need to.
And really, we had a good starting point with getting rid of a lot of the junk food that we used to bring into the home. So that in and of itself has been really great. So as much as, some of those little, ketchup and mayonnaise and things like that that you're going to use, as much as that might be too much to start off and make from scratch, that's nothing compared to all the other stuff that we no longer have in the house, like all the soda and chips and cookies and all kinds of stuff. And she's been really good about when we have desserts, it's stuff that she's made.
Well, month 4 in the bag and on to month 5. I have every hope in the world that we will have more success coming up, and we're looking forward to bringing you along for all of the updates in the future.
Thanks for all your support. It really means a lot, and it's been very encouraging to just keep going. So thank you so much.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Bye.